everybody, welcome back to the Brett Figueroa Show. This is Brett Figueroa. Hey, I want to take a moment and first of all, thank you for dropping in with us, whether you're on a live, whether you're going to be on a replay, or wherever you are in the world. We want to say thank you so much. You could be doing anything else with your time. So if you're here today, we want to, again, just say thank you to our friends and our family around the world that are doing amazing, amazing things. And during this time of the season right now, this is a holiday time right all around the world. You know, for a lot of people, there's a lot of stress and there's all these different emotions that come up. You know, maybe with COVID, maybe you possibly lost some of your family members or some of your friends. And so I just want to send out lots of love and lots of blessings to you and to your family, whatever you may be dealing with, whatever you possibly may be going through during this season. And, you know, our aim in our show is to move, to motivate and inspire people really into their ultimate greatness. You know, I just really believe that we have a seed of greatness when it's inside of us, and we just never know, you know, when it's going to pop, when it's just going to ignite. You know, we don't know. You know, we spend time seed, soil, sun, and many times we think, oh, are we ever going to, you know, is it ever going to happen? Am I ever going to have that success? Am I ever going to create that marriage? Am I ever going to make that money? Am I ever going to get that health? You know, whatever that is. And I just believe that you have that seed inside of you as long as, you know, we stay faithful and, you know, that we keep believing that there's amazing, amazing things ahead of us. And so what my belief is that wherever you are in your life is exactly where you're supposed to be, right, in order to really create that growth. And I want to believe that this season that is coming up ahead of us as we approach a brand new year, it's hard to believe that, you know, I was just on a phone with a dear friend of mine going, it's already the end of 2021. Like, you know, the last couple of years have just slid on by, and we're now moving into a brand new season. And so I want to believe that this new season we're coming into is really that season where you're just going to sprout. You're going to grow to your greatest levels. And for those that aren't familiar with this bamboo tree, I was sharing this story here recently because I just think it's such an amazing metaphor for the possibility of people's lives. And so I'm going to share briefly before we get into today's topic. I'm going to share briefly about the bamboo tree and the possibilities. The bamboo tree is in East Asia, and you know, you have to plant that seed, just a little tiny seed, and you put that seed in the ground, and for 5 years, we've got to water that ground. Sun has got to come in and give sun to the seed. You know, it's got to be planted in the soil. And for 5 years, patiently and faithfully, we go out and water the seed, the bamboo seed. And nothing appears to be happening. Nothing appears to be happening. I mean, you know, you might have friends and family around you right now where you might be involved in a business and maybe you're pushing and going and grinding in that business and you think, man, nothing's happening. You know, it's not working. Maybe I should go get a job. You know, maybe I should just get back to, you know, being normal again instead of being, you know, off the grid and being an entrepreneur and all these visions and all these great dreams. You got to stay in faith and believe that you have the ability to be that bamboo tree. So for 5 years, you water, family watches you water going, dude, nothing's happening. Get a life, you know, get real, all that kind of stuff inside of our own head. But then on year 5, right, after all the watering, seed, soil, and sun, bam, all of a sudden that little tiny sprout pops up out of the earth. And within 7 to 10 weeks, that little nothing and nothing grows anywhere between 70 to 90 feet. 70 to 90 feet in the next 7 to 10 weeks. My belief is that you are the bamboo tree. You've got to stay faithful. You've got to know the season you're going into is your season. It's your season for prosperity. It's your season for growth. It's your season for health. It's your season for opportunity. And there's going to be so much blessing that's going to happen in this season that's ahead of you. Why? Because you're staying in faith. So again, we want to say thank you for being with us here today. Today we're going to talk about self-sabotage. Self-sabotage. You know, people say, oh, you know, I'm a professional self-sabotager. I used to let people know I'd go into meetings and I'd talk about self-sabotage. I said, yeah, self-sabotage. I had like a PhD in self-sabotage. Now, you personally probably don't self-sabotage, but you may know someone that self-sabotages, possibly. And so maybe today could be an opportunity where you grab an idea, grab a strategy, grab a philosophy, grab something See, we're not going to be able to end world hunger over the next 18, 20 minutes. We're not going to be able to make all the impact of the world over the next 18 minutes or 20 minutes. But maybe there's that one good idea. We call it the one good idea philosophy. And really that's anytime you can get in front of, some information or read a book or do something where you grab one good idea and then you take that idea and you put it into action either personally or professionally, then it's been worth our time together. So self-sabotage, really, people are like, what is self-sabotage? Now, many people don't ask what self-sabotage is because they are self-sabotage. They live it consistently, ongoingly. I'd ask somebody about, a particular challenge they had, and their response was, since birth. Some people are like, I've been self-sabotaging my entire life. Well, maybe today's the day we can put an end to it, right? Or at least begin to create progress into that direction. So you really can begin to grow instead of hindering your growth. You can transcend versus descend, right? We would rather go up than down, and ascend, transcend, to go higher, right? Self-sabotage is really involves an attitude or a behavior that's inconsistent with your values, right? So let's say, for an example, your values are health. You say, I got really strong values towards my health, right? But then you find yourself at, eating pizza and drinking beer every night. That might be a little bit inconsistent with your values called health, right? You might say, your value is like success and making money, but you're inconsistent with that through the actions of going out and overspending. I used to know in my younger years, self-sabotage. I knew, if I'm doing good this month, I knew what was coming next month. It was going to go down. And I knew I'd go back up because I felt enough pain. But then I got to a certain level. I said, I'm going to go back down. And it's that roller coaster ride, right? That roller coaster ride. And where does that come from? It's usually some childhood inner dialogue, something. You watched mom and dad argue about money, right? You hear that, money doesn't grow on trees. Money's the root of all evil, right? I mean, in order to make money, I'm going to have to do bad things, or I'm going to have to not be so honest and ethical. And, it's easy to come up with all kinds of different things. And so it's really, again, that inconsistency. So deep inside of ourselves, it's some core cellular level of something we don't really truly believe that we deserve to make that much money. Like, oh my God, like that much money. Like, holy Lord, that's a lot of money. Like, don't feel worthy of that much money. Dude, I came from the other side of the tracks. I mean, we could barely even afford a car. We were always hearing about money issues, and all of a sudden I'm, gonna make all this money, right? I'll mess that one right up right away, right? So it's that that inner side of us, that unconscious part of us. It's not consciously. It's not like, I'm going to go consciously sabotage myself. So we don't set out for that. We don't aim for that. It just happens at an unconscious level. Right when we start doing well, the unconscious mind kicks in and says, whoa, put a halt to that, stop that, slow down, right? And inside of us, we want to keep going. There's a part that our brain, says, let's go after it. And there's the inside of us that says, whoa, slow down, boy. Slow down, relax, set back a little bit, right? And we listen to the inner dialogue. We listen and pay attention to that. Now, let me go back to that. I'm not going to say we listen to it like we listen to it. We're more responding to it. So in essence, we're listening to it, but we're not really listening to it. We're really more just responding to it through the unconscious listening of it. And all of a sudden, we find ourselves doing things that are really, again, inconsistent. And we got to ask ourselves, really, when is enough enough? Right? When is enough enough? And if you really start to look and go, okay, well, how long has sabotage been, again, a part of your life? I know for me, and I'm not saying that it's over, because I think that for human beings, we're going to self-sabotage probably till the day we die. I think there's certain areas that we can go into in our life, whether it be our health, our fitness, our finances, our spiritual, whatever it is, we're going to find places to mess it up. None of us are perfect, right? None of us are perfect in that sense. But I think that progress is really ultimately key, right? Not perfection, but rather progress. And so if we can begin to feel like we're progressing in this area that at one point we didn't feel like, I didn't really feel like I was progressing there. Kind of felt like I was stuck in that sabotage loop. Again, maybe today's the day to break free from that. So let's just go through a few quick, simple steps of, how to create some freedom from there, how to begin to create some progress from there. Number one is become aware, right? Becoming aware. Awareness is really ultimately key, right? So we're either aware or we're unaware, right? You ever meet some of those people and you're like, wow, that person's really unaware. Like they don't even notice, right? If you ever had that person, like, they come at you and they're talking with you and, they keep talking and you're like, you don't want to say anything rude or be, totally impatient, but you're looking at your watch. Time and time, like, you want to give signals and some clues, and they don't pick up any of the signals and clues, right? So ultimately, you're like, dude, I gotta go, And I was hoping you'd kind of pick it up after me looking at my watch like 15 times in front of you. That's really unaware, right? So it's really about noticing. Like, where do you got to notice? Okay, this is where I self-sabotage right here. I notice when I'm starting to do good. I'm gonna notice that here's the actions that are gonna be possibly inconsistent. I'm gonna notice those things. So again, most of us, we're just an automatic pilot. We're just kind of running through life, right? Life's running us, right? And we're just at the response and we're just at the effect of that kind of, that kind of system in our life. So number one is become aware. Just awareness is key. Noticing. I was saying to somebody, it's like noticing we have cancer is bad. All of a sudden you go to the doctor and the doctor says you got cancer. Like noticing you got cancer is bad. Not noticing you have cancer is worse. Because there's nothing that we can do. We can't intervene into something we don't even know anything about. So it's through that intervention that allows for you and I to actually apply a tool, a tip, a strategy, a philosophy, an idea, a something that can create intervention to then create a whole different trajectory of where it is that our life's going. So number one, become aware. I think, again, awareness is absolutely key. Number two is to really just know our true value. To really know our true value as a human being. To really know, as for many of my friends know, I'm a Christian. Now, I used to not, put that out, but I am. I believe in my God. He created me. At least that's my belief. And so it's like I got to look at my true value. Like I might have people that don't like me, but I know that there's a dude out there that does like me. And that's my true value, and to be able to really resonate with what that value is for you. Like, yeah, I am valuable. And if we really think about, life, and the odds of one being born are 1 in 3.5 trillion. Those are the odds. Go and Google it. What are the odds of birth? The odds of birth are 1 in 3.5 trillion. Trillion. And they're all going for the same goal, right? And who made it? You. Know your true worth. Know your true value. Know your true heights that you have the ability to go to. You've got to know that. So that's number two. Know your true value. So inner dialogue wants to go, oh, yeah, but you don't really have the value. Yeah, but you're not really worthy. Yeah, but you're not really deserving. That's horse doo-doo. That's not true. We are valuable. We have that sense of value. Hey, when we're out of the game, we'll know it's time for us to be out of the game. 150,000 people die a day. It's a lot of people. 150,000 people die a day. A friend of mine here recently said he got into the funeral business. Yeah, I see why. 150,000 people die a day. We're all going to die, right? But if you're still here, because I look at it and go, if there's 150,000 people on one side of the street and you're on the other side of the street, and those 150,000 people go up into heaven and you're still standing there, whoo, and that happens every day, right? 150,000 up, you're still there. 150,000 up, you're still there. You're here for a reason. Know your true value, okay? Number three, breaking your own pattern. Breaking your pattern. So when we begin to notice that self-sabotage, that you're doing something that's inconsistent, right, with your values, right? It's inconsistent with your values. It's inconsistent with your goals. It's inconsistent with your dreams. It doesn't support it. It takes away from it. Break its pattern. Stop it dead in its tracks. Do something that just absolutely is going to just go bam, right? Break its pattern. Break its pattern so many times it can never go back. I mean, if you know those, when you buy a brand new shirt and it's got a dress shirt, right? A men's dress shirt, it has those little stick pins, right? If you find yourself doing something inconsistent, maybe take one of the stick pins and jam it in your shoulder. Right? Like, it does it again, jam it in the shoulder again, jam it in the shoulder, whatever you need to do. right? Something radical, something insane, something that's just out of the normal jurisdiction, instead of just going, yeah, but I know I shouldn't be sabotaging and I'm not going to do it. Do something to totally interrupt its behavior. Do something that totally interrupt the flow of that, right? Where all of a sudden you find yourself right back in that same position. That's nonsense. It's time to do something new. Maybe today is that day for you. Maybe it's the 9th day of December, 2021, where it's the game-changing day. The day where it turns it all around. I really, truly do believe in our lives, there's a day that turns it all around. Maybe there's enough pain, maybe there's enough regret, maybe there's enough disappointment, maybe there's enough something to something where you say, that's it, no more, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? It's time to break through certain things. And maybe sabotage for you is the exact thing, right, that's preventing you from really becoming all that you can be. And maybe that's the thing you just tackle head on. You really get committed to tackling it head on. So that's number 3. So again, quickly, number 1, becoming aware, staying conscious. Number 2 is knowing your true value, knowing what value you have. Number 3 is breaking your pattern, breaking the cycle, breaking the flow. Number 4 is identify your commitment, right? Identify your commitment. And it's really important to identify your commitment. Somebody comes to me and they go, yeah, I'm committed to, whatever it is. I'm committed to losing the weight. My response to them is, great, from a 0 to a 10, how committed? And if they go, well, I'm about at level 8, I know the 2% they're not committed, I know that that's going to be the one that's going to take them right on down. Because you and I both know, unless you're 100% committed, it's not going to happen. If somebody's not 100% committed to losing those 10 pounds, if somebody's not 100% committed to that marriage, if somebody's not 100% committed to their finances or to their fitness or whatever that might be, if they're not 100% committed, it's that little tiny 1 or 2% that takes us right on down. It's the back door, it's the alibi, it's the justification, it's the rationalization, it's something to something, but it's the thing that's going to take us down. So if you're totally committed, say, man, I'm going to jump in, I'm going to get 100% committed to this, I'm going to tackle this thing called self-sabotage head on. I've been dealing with it for years and years now. I've never allowed myself to really grow into that bamboo tree. I'm still kind of that little tiny something to something where I have big goals and big dreams that maybe one day, maybe your one day is now, right? Maybe that, someday, maybe it starts today. I once heard the road to someday leads to a town called nowhere. Something like that. The road to someday leads to a town called nowhere. Like, it just doesn't arrive, right? When are you going to do it? Someday. I didn't even know that's on the calendar. You mean there's a day called someday? I think that leads nowhere, right? So get clear. Know your commitment. Number 5, as we close out here, is to really just know the cost. I think that ultimately what it comes down to for anything, and for those that have watched any of our shows before, is that, we always talk about, really what's the leverage? What's the leverage, dude? What's going to make you change so radically? What's going to make you make the shift so, such a course correct in such a radical, what's the cost, right? So I think what it ultimately comes down to is recognizing and begin to look at, I think that if people feel enough pain, right, they're going to do anything to get out of the pain to get into pleasure, right? So ultimately we stack enough pain. So what you might want to do in your journals, just like as maybe a little homework exercise, is to write down, how much is it costing me? Like, how much does it already cost me? Right? So like, how much has it already cost me? How much does it cost you in your health? Right? How much does it cost you in your finances? How much does it cost you in your confidence, your self-esteem, your self-worth? How much does it cost your family? Because I want to begin to self-sabotage on an ongoing basis. Right? So what is the cost that it's already cost me? Right? What does it already cost? You might want to spend some time just kind of writing that out. Really get fully associated to the cost in which it's costed you, your family, your friends, your loved ones, your future, your self-esteem, all those different types of things. And look into the future. What's it going to continue to cost me? Like, if I take all of this from my 2021 and all of the other years and I drag that into the future, like, what's it going to cost me next year? Double? Double insanity? Right? Double insanity? Like, I think ultimately you got to get to a place like, for those that remember the lady Susan Powter. Years ago, she wrote a book called Stop the Insanity. It was like she cut all of her hair off. She went bleach blonde. She was this heavy set woman and she got super fit and it was like, stop the insanity. She was finding herself sabotaging herself, uncommitted, big goals, right? Little actions. And what is it going to cost you into your future? What's it going to cost you 5 years down the road? What's it going to cost you 10 years down the road? What is it going to cost your children? Right? What's it going to cost your children because they don't get a chance to see as an opportunity to watch their mom or their dad or somebody that's in that space to do something really, really well. Instead of settling, instead of being so like it's about myself and it's about my fears and it's about my this. Maybe make it about your kids. Maybe to make it about your friends. Maybe to make it about so you become such an example. I think like the book Good Bible says, we're an example or a warning, right? You're warning, bro. I'm not gonna do anything you're doing, right? Or you're an example. You're an example of possibilities. So my invitation for you right now is to really look and again, write that stuff out. These are the things we talk about clarity. Get clear. Clarity is power, right? And so get clear about the cost. And I think that ultimately is the biggest thing. Can we identify a whole bunch of different things that we can do? Yes, we just went through. One again, as we close out. This is a very passionate topic for me. So some people might be watching, go, oh, he's really passionate. I'm really passionate. Because it's a topic, again, when I stand in front of a room and I've trained over 3,000 companies and I ask, how many in the room are familiar and have used or, have done self-sabotage? Almost every hand in the room is guilty of that. And they know they haven't become all they can ever possibly be. They know they haven't become the bamboo tree that they can be. They know they haven't become that person. And the only thing that's preventing them is their commitment and their not knowing and identifying where it is that they sabotage most. So I believe that today could be an opportunity for you to turn that all around. And if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and you're willing to do something about it, to begin to notice your behaviors. Begin to notice where you're being inconsistent with your dreams and your goals and noticing your actions are not supporting those. So I just want to say thank you again so much. Our outcome is to put ideas and I think mostly is to inspire people. There's so much information on the internet. I mean, someone can go and, Google how to, end self-sabotage. Again, that's more information. I think that we're drowning in information, right? We're in information overload. I think what people are really yearning for is they're starving for wisdom. They're starving to be inspired. I think we're many times as a culture and society, we're over-inspired or over-informed and under-inspired. Maybe today can be an opportunity for you to be inspired to a whole new level. So we want to say, as always, we want to say thank you so much wherever you are in the world, that today you walk away with something, maybe reinvigorated, maybe a new sense of power, maybe a new sense of commitment, maybe a new sense of determination, maybe a new sense of just inside of you, that seed of greatness, knowing that that seed is being yearned for seed, soil, and sun, and that you are that bamboo tree. So again, thank you so much for tuning in with us, where our aim is to move, to motivate, and inspire you to be at your absolute ultimate greatness, right? To be the very best version of yourself so you can be an inspiration to others around you, right? To expose yourself and not to be the warning of that person, oh, I'm not going to become that. So if you get an opportunity or you enjoy our work or you get an idea, please put a comment in, please like it. Maybe you have a friend, a family, somebody that you go, hey, I'm going to share this message with. Our aim is to get the message out to the world and the people that really could use the message the most. So again, thank you so much. We're sending out lots of love, lots of blessings during this holiday season to your friends, to your family, to your loved ones. Take really good care of yourself. Love yourself. Know the value within inside of yourself. And I promise you, the more you do that, the less you'll want to go self-sabotage and do all those crazy things that you and I are so guilty of for so many years. So lots of love, lots of blessings. And until we see you back for the next episode of the Brett Figueroa Show, we are sending you off to go off and live